Governments cap bus length at 15 meters in Europe, 45 feet in the US. Not an inch more. So when engineers moved the engine to the rear, they recovered 1.5 meters of usable floor, gained up to 20% more seats, and cut driver blind spots by a quarter. What seems like a simple layout swap is actually one of the most deliberate engineering trade-offs in modern transit, solving far more problems than most passengers will ever see. Alex Rivera, a transit systems analyst, runs the numbers every time a new bus order comes up. The legal cap, 15 meters in Europe, 45 feet in the US, forces every square inch to count. When the engine moves behind the rear axle, the front end opens up. There is no bulky engine compartment or raised transmission tunnel to steal space from the aisle or the first rows. Instead, the floor stretches flat from the front door almost to the back, reclaiming up to 1.5 meters of usable cabin length. That is enough for 2, sometimes 3 extra rows, translating to 10 to 20% more seats within the same legal footprint. For a city operator, that means more fare-paying passengers per trip, with no need to run longer or wider vehicles. The difference is not just about squeezing in more people, but about making the business work under strict regulatory constraints. Every additional seat is extra revenue, and over the lifespan of a bus, those gains add up. Alex points out that in high-frequency urban routes, these extra seats can mean the difference between breaking even and running at a loss. The rear engine layout is not just a mechanical tweak. It is a direct response to the economic realities of modern transit. Dr. Maya Lee steps onto a city bus and points to the floor, smooth, level, and free of obstructions. The absence of a front engine and transmission tunnel allows for a continuous flat surface, a feature that transforms accessibility from an afterthought into a core principle. For wheelchair users, this means a direct path from curb to securement area, with entry heights as low as 250 millimeters, well within both ADA and EN 14752 standards. Elderly passengers, parents with strollers, and anyone with limited mobility benefit from the same design. No steps to navigate, no narrow aisles squeezed by mechanical components. The ramp, extending up to 1 meter, deploys quickly and at a gentle angle, reducing boarding time and physical strain. Dr. Lee points out that, in practice, low-floor buses equipped with rear engines cut total boarding time by up to 30% on busy routes. The result is not just a technical win, but a human one. Every rider moves more freely, and the entire boarding process becomes faster and less stressful for everyone involved. This step toward barrier-free transit is only possible when the engine moves out of the way, clearing the path for true inclusivity. Alex stands at the front of a rear-engine bus, gesturing to the sweeping glass that wraps around the driver's seat. With the engine and transmission moved out back, manufacturers can widen the windshield by up to 15%, stretching it nearly 3 meters across in some models. The driver's position shifts forward by about 10 centimeters, right up to the base of the glass, eliminating the bulky dashboard and engine hump that once blocked sight lines. This change cuts forward blind spots by 25% based on transit safety audits and gives a clear view of crosswalks, cyclists, and merging traffic. In busy city corridors, that extra visibility means drivers can spot hazards sooner and react faster. The panoramic glass isn't just for show. It's a direct result of rethinking the front end. With nothing mechanical in the way, the cab becomes a true command center, where every pedestrian and vehicle is in plain sight. Alex notes that for operators, these sightlines translate to fewer collisions and safer streets, making the rear engine layout a quiet but powerful safety upgrade. Jin Park, a vehicle dynamics engineer, runs his hand along the rear axle of a city bus and grins. The secret, he says, is the weight split. About 40% on the front wheels, 60% on the back. This isn't just a quirk of design. It's the same principle that lets a race car hug the track. With the heaviest part of the bus, the engine and transmission, sitting over the drive wheels, traction improves, especially when the bus is fully loaded. In wet or snowy weather, that extra weight on the rear axle means the tires grip the road more securely, reducing the risk of wheel spin during starts or on slippery grades. Steering effort drops too, with less weight pressing down on the front wheels. The driver can turn more easily, even at low speeds. Jin points out that on sharp city corners, a rear-heavy bus feels more stable and less likely to plow forward or tip. Transit agencies have measured up to 12% better traction and 15% less steering force compared to front-engine models. The physics are simple, but the result is a bus that's not just easier to drive, but safer and smoother for everyone on board. Handling isn't just for sports cars. On crowded city streets, it's a daily necessity. Inside a rear-engine bus, the difference is immediate. The usual roar and vibration of a front-mounted diesel are gone, replaced by a steady hum that barely rises above the sound of conversation. With the engine tucked behind the rear axle, sound pressure levels at the driver's seat drop from around 85 decibels in older front-engine models to just 70 in modern rear-engine buses. A reduction the ear can feel, enough to turn a shout into a normal speaking voice. Passengers sitting up front notice the change most. The floor no longer buzzes underfoot, and the steering wheel doesn't tremble in the driver's hands. Vibration measurements show a 30% drop at common touch points, and studies tie this directly to a 40% decrease in reported driver fatigue over a full shift. Alex, who logs hours comparing fleet data, points out that quieter cabins mean less stress for both passengers and operators. Children can nap, riders can focus on a book, and the driver can concentrate on the road without the constant drone of machinery. The comfort isn't just a luxury, it's a product of engineering choices, reinforced by layers of soundproofing materials that line the cabin walls and floor. These design details add up to a ride that is not only smoother and quieter, but healthier for everyone on board. Luis Ortega, an acoustic materials specialist, runs his hand across the inside wall of a rear-engine bus. Hidden behind the panels, a multi-layered approach to soundproofing is at work. The most noticeable upgrade, 30mm laminated glass, which cuts outside noise by up to 5 decibels compared to standard panes. That might seem minor, but passenger satisfaction surveys show a 10% jump in overall comfort when this glass is used throughout the cabin. Under the floor and along the firewall, dense acoustic foam absorbs engine vibrations before they reach the passenger area. Luis explains that these foams are tuned to block the low-frequency rumble produced by diesel engines, targeting the range where human ears are most sensitive to fatigue. The investment in these materials is carefully calculated. Each extra kilogram of glass and foam adds cost, but it also buys a quieter ride that reduces driver fatigue and keeps complaints down. Transit agencies weigh the price against the payoff. Fewer warranty claims for rattling panels, lower rates of driver turnover, and consistently higher satisfaction scores. For Luis, every decibel matters. Not just for peace and quiet, but for the economics of running a modern fleet. The result is an engineered silence that makes long city journeys possible, even with a powerful engine working just meters away. Sophia Grant, a mechanical engineer, stands beside the open rear hatch of a city bus, tracing the airflow path with her hand. With the engine tucked behind the rear axle, air scoops and ducts channel up to 3 cubic meters per second directly across the radiator, keeping engine temperature stable even in heavy traffic. This rear placement not only improves cooling efficiency by 6% over front-engine buses, but it also clears the entire underfloor for storage. On intercity models, that means up to 3.2 cubic meters of luggage space, enough to accommodate 15% more baggage per trip. Sophia explains that these dual gains, better engine health and larger trunks, come from a single engineering decision. By moving the powertrain out back, designers solve two persistent problems at once: keeping the engine cool under stress and giving passengers the storage they expect on long journeys. Front-engine buses still hold their ground in certain settings, rural routes, rougher roads, or markets where cost trumps comfort. But there's a trade-off. The raised front floor, often 150 millimeters higher than rear-engine models, creates a step up and limits aisle width. That missing flat stretch means up to 12% fewer seats within the same vehicle length, shrinking revenue potential for city operators. On the efficiency front, rear-engine buses edge ahead, burning 0.4 liters less fuel per 100 kilometers and cutting CO2 output by 5 to 7% per passenger. Over a bus's lifespan, that adds up: a $12,000 savings in fuel and nearly $150,000 in potential emissions credits for large fleets. Alex sums it up: rear-engine design isn't just about comfort or capacity, but about squeezing out every bit of efficiency in an era where both budgets and the climate are under pressure. Today, every rear-engine bus is an engineered solution, maximizing passenger flow, accessibility, and efficiency within strict legal limits. As urban populations surge and environmental targets tighten, these design choices shape the future of transit. The next ride you take isn't just transportation, it's a system optimized for everything that matters now.